Our hustlers have invited 3 of Britain's top professional players for a televised game of poker.
When we decided to cheat at poker, we wanted to take on the best, and the Hendon Mob are the best at their game. Paul and I play poker quite regularly, and we're pretty good. Without cheating, no chance. They would take us down probably every single time. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing. Because if you're caught, you're dead.
Meet our 3 pros. They are Joe, the Elegant Beavers. Last year he won over 140 grand playing poker. Ross Boatman, an accomplished actor and pro poker player who has won over $500,000 in his career. And Barney Boatman, brother of Ross. Last year he won over 100 grand. They're in a group of players called the Hendon Mob. Alex and Paul are pretending to be amateur players who are taking part in a poker documentary, thus explaining the TV cameras. In fact, both Alex and Paul are not amateur players, but are excellent poker cheats. Paul is an accomplished magician and one of the world's most expert gambling cheats. He has trained for years at card cheating and can literally deal himself any hand he wants, when he wants. This is the poker scam. So, the poker game has begun, and they have already played a few hands where the Hendon Mob have been winning. So far the game isn't fixed, but it's about to get more interesting for our hustlers as they introduce their rigged pack of cards. This pack is the so-called cold deck, because it's not yet been warmed up through play.
The simplest way to describe stacking the deck is to just take a deck and set it up so that after the deal, you receive the best cards. So if you wanted to get 2 aces, and there are only 2 players in the game, you simply have to make sure that the second card down is an ace, and the second card after that is an ace. So you deal a card to them, an ace to yourself, a card to them, and an ace to yourself.
The Hendon Mob always use their own branded cards, and the cold deck must always match the deck already in use. So, our hustlers have simply bought an identical pack off the Mob's own website to use as their fixed. First they have to get the deck into the room. Cue Jess for the smuggle. She enters the room to take a drinks order, apparently a waitress from the venue.
Get your drinks for anybody.
A bit more water would be nice, thanks.
I'll have a Coke.
If we look more closely, we can see that she has a deck of cards hidden behind her notebook. This deck's been pre-stacked by our hustlers, and they need to get hold of it to start playing their fixed hand. Paul's hand is in position, waiting to receive the deck. Will she manage it? Yes, perfect. The cards have dropped safely into Paul's awaiting hand. He is now in possession of the rigged deck. But next, Paul has to get them up onto the table and into play. To do so, he needs to swap the existing deck with the rigged deck in his hand. How's he going to do this? It's time for the switch.
This is where it all started. Yeah.
Again, Jess is on standby to aid him. She's back in the room to serve the drinks.
And then we started travelling. We were kind of the winners in the game.
Right.
And then we started travelling around Europe. And maybe 1 or 2 of us would turn up. And people would say, oh yeah, where's the rest of the Hendon Mob?
Right.
Did you see it? If we look again, he's got the real deck in his left hand and the rigged deck in his right hand. As he moves the chair, he's put the real deck on his seat and the rigged deck up onto the table. It was very simple, but very effective. The rigged deck is now in play. Next up is the shuffle. Before every hand, the cards must be shuffled. But the cards have been stacked in the correct order, and a shuffle will ruin everything. Actually, no. Amazingly, Paul isn't really shuffling the deck here. He's using sleight of hand to shuffle, and then return the cards to exactly the same order they started in. This is the hardest part of the whole scam, and a skill that's taken years for Paul to perfect. Now comes the cut. This is a critical move for our hustlers. If the order of cards changes, their fixed hand won't work. Paul's indicated the point in the deck where Alex should make the cut. The moves are all over, but it doesn't mean that things are going to get any easier. The hustlers have to have given the professional players just the right cards. Too high and they might smell a cheat. Too low and they might fold. Just right though, and they'll bet thousands of pounds in chips. As planned, Paul folds. To win the game, the Hustlers only need one unbeatable hand at the table. Luckily for Ross, the Hustlers have given him a bad hand, and he folds too. But Barney has a jack and a 10, which has very strong potential. Joe has a look at his hand and does a very good job of hiding his emotions. He's got 2 aces. This is the best hand he could hope for at this stage. Alex takes a look at his cards, and of course he already knows what he's got, a pair of queens.
It's 1,300 on top.
The Hendon Mob have just put down £1,300 each, and they've still got 5 cards to see. They've definitely taken the bait. Will the next 3 cards reel them in even more? Now Alex has got 3 queens, Joe's got 3 aces, and Barney Boatman's very close to getting either a straight or a flush, 2 of the highest hands in poker.
2,000.
Now it's time for the 6th card out of 7. It's the 2 of spades. Barney Boatman's made his flush. He's got 5 spades. This is where the pro players really show their skills.
I'm all in.
Barney puts down a huge pile of chips to try and scare everyone off.
Yeah.
But Joe and Alex have gone all in too. It's time to see who's got the best hand. It's too close to call. Everyone thinks they've got the winning hand, but if the Hustlers have succeeded with their plan, this last card will be a spade, and Alex will make a flush, beating everyone at the table. Paul turns over the last card, and as planned, it is a spade, giving Alex a slightly higher scoring flush than Barney and making him the winner. The cheated hand of cards has turned up trumps. Against the odds, Alex the amateurs managed to beat the pros at poker. The Hendon Mob still don't know the game is rigged. For the next hand, they smuggled another cold deck onto the table, gave Barney Boatman 4 eights, and beat him with a straight flush.
This is absolute cold deck. That is absolutely ridiculous. No. No one's going to believe this.
Once the hand was over, the Hustlers revealed it was a scam. So, what tips have the mob got to avoid being cheated?
Don't be scared by this program. There's no reason to be scared. There's no reason to go out and think, oh my God, everybody's cheating. The majority of the time when you play poker, you're playing in a controlled environment. And the best policemen at the table are the players. If you think there's something a little bit dodgy going on, speak up. If the cards haven't been shuffled properly, say so. If someone does a 2-handed cut, tell them you want to see them cut again.
If you've got any experience at all, things will happen that are unlikely, that don't feel right. All I can say is that we make our living playing the game, and this hasn't worried us.
You want anything to add?
Yeah, don't play with these guys. Yeah.
We had an advantage in this game in that it was dealt by the players, so we would get a hold of the deck. If we were playing the Hendon Mob in their element, which would be in a professionally monitored poker game, we wouldn't be able to pull these